fun. I really enjoy being creative in this way, and it brings a lot more meaning to the things that I'm doing, and I feel a lot more connected with what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and the items that I'm choosing to surround myself with. Hey beautiful people, my name's Brittany and I hope you're having an amazing day. In this video I want to share about 3 ways that I find really helpful to reduce my waste, which is something that I just find really fun to play around with for a lot of different reasons. I also want to share about a challenge I'm doing right now with myself and that I'm going to make a video about next week and tell you how it went. So I'll share about that at the end of the video. Before I jump into these 3 ways, I think I'd like to share, like if you're familiar with my channel, you might know that I've been really into minimalism for, wow, quite some time. 8 years? I don't even know at this point. A long time. And I think since I was really young, it always felt fun for me to think about ways to use less water or less electricity. And it was also, like, I liked it for the environmental reasons, and I liked it just because it felt like I was being, what's the word? Not thrifty, but anyway, resourceful. I was being more resourceful. And also it's just like a big part of my upbringing. We always shopped at secondhand stores, and we like collected artifacts on the side of the road and made cool art out of them. My stepmother really liked to repurpose things like my dad's old boots to plant in, and it was just really normal for my family growing up to be doing things like that. And I liked doing it. I also had this link to a simple life through camping, through exploring nature, through just spending a lot of time outside, making up games and interacting, yeah, a lot with nature and with other people, and just finding that we didn't need many things. So I think minimalism and going with that, like less waste, has just kind of always been a fun part of my life. I definitely don't feel like I've been, like, I know there's some people who are really into zero waste and that's like kind of their main focus and going green. And I mean, my channel hasn't really been about that. And also simultaneously, I feel like it is an undertone and it is oftentimes a byproduct of being really interested in minimalism, being interested in intentional living, being interested in healthy living in general. So it's fun how all those things are connected. And also, I don't consider myself like an expert in this area. I just feel really excited about it right now. And it's something that I've been enjoying, kind of getting to a new level of producing less waste. I really would love to not be producing waste. And I like to share what's exciting me with you here. So I was thinking about a way I could make it accessible and helpful and fun for all of you. And I kind of got it down to 3 things. So I think one of the hugest ways that I reduce my trash is by composting. And again, that's just something that's always been a part of my life. We always composted at my mom's house and my dad's house growing up. And then when I started to live on my own, I just felt like it was the normal thing to do, you know? Just always did it. And even living in the RV, we guerrilla composted, so we had a compost bin and then would find places in nature that felt like good places to compost. And that's kind of what we're doing here now in our apartment because we don't have like a yard space where we can compost. So we have this compost bin, which I wish I had with me. I don't at the moment. It's like a box about this big and it's plastic, which is just like the best vessel we could get for now. And it fits inside our fridge and it probably takes care of about 2 days of compost for us because we eat a lot of items that are compostable, which again is another way to reduce waste. It's by eating, you know, foods that come from the earth that can go back to the earth. So yeah, having that compost bin, having a space for it in the fridge so it feels like easy, it's not getting smelly. And if you can, of course, composting in your own yard, building a compost area is so fun. And then you have this amazing rich soil that you can also use to plant things in, etc. The second thing, this has changed my life, bringing my own vessels wherever I go. So I think a lot of waste that I used to produce was food related waste. So if it wasn't the food itself or the packaging, well, I guess it's like the packaging around the food. So whether we're buying food at a store and it's coming with packaging, or we're ordering food at a store and they're putting it in packaging, there's just so much packaging around food. It blows my mind. So a simple way I found to reduce that is just to carry a few things with me all the time, which is easy for me because I carry my backpack everywhere I go. So here are some things I have with me. I always have a pair of chopsticks, a spoon, a knife of some sort, so like this or a pocket knife. Pretty much I eat everything with chopsticks and spoon. Sometimes it's helpful to have a knife. I also tend to have a straw with me. I have an aluminum straw that's in my backpack. And then I couldn't actually find empty vessels right now, so Connor's making something interesting in here. I can't even remember what sort of flour he made in here. But anyway, this vessel I really like. It's a nice glass container with a really sturdy top so it can flip all around and stuff doesn't leak out of it even if it's liquid. And then just a mason jar, like a quart mason jar, which right now has some herbal tea in it that I made. And I just find that just having these items with me all the time in my backpack means that if I decide I want to stop somewhere and they have, like, I was just at a store, they have a salad bar. So if I wanted to make a salad there, or if I wanted to get some of their herbal tea that they have, or whatever the thing might be, then I can use my own vessel and I don't have to use theirs. And it just feels so much better for me. It's also nice if you go to a restaurant, you have leftovers, you can take them with you. Even if you like calling for takeout, you can call and let them know that you have your own vessel and then bring it and they'll put it in there for you. So that's for more like eating it, drinking it now type food. For shopping trips, I really love having, a couple things. One, if you followed my minimalist packing videos, you know I love these reusable stuff but sack bags. So this opens up and is just a whole bag. And let me tell you, I can fit a lot of food in here. I can fit a lot of things. And also, like in Austin, Texas, where I'm living right now, they don't give you bags automatically. You have to buy them. So even if you go to a store where you bought like clothing or hygiene products, you still have to bring your own bag or buy a bag. So it's just really nice to get used to that. And I think it's great that they're encouraging people to bring their own bags. So maybe you want something like this kind of a stuff sack bag, or the more traditional like shopping bag things we see. And then my personal favorite, because I pretty much just buy fresh fruits and vegetables and some things from the bulk section, I really like using cardboard boxes like this. So in the produce area, they have extra cardboard boxes. And if you don't see any out that are obviously just like free to use, you can just ask somebody from the produce section and they'll bring you one. And it's so much nicer for me to shop that way and just put my items in there. And I also find like it's easier to carry it. It's pretty to see everything you have. And I found it to be really great. For items in the bulk section, I think it's really nice to have mason jars with you like this, or the smaller ones, or bags like produce bags. I realized I meant to get our more like mesh produce bag, and this is actually a nut milk bag, which you could totally get stuff from bulk section. So that's if you want to get things like, I got nutritional yeast the other day there, or nuts and seeds, or if you like to eat grains or legumes, you can get those in the bulk section. So basically, I know that's kind of more than one tip. It's like bringing my own vessels and then also eating whole foods, really, because like whole unprocessed foods, I guess, like anything, unpackaged foods tend to be whole foods. And tip number 3, upcycle or make your own. So for example, if there's a food that you like to buy in packaging, you can make it on your own, and that's usually like a really fun way too, to do something creative, to maybe make it with better ingredients or ingredients that feel like they're more ideal for you, and then you don't have the packaging as well. And I've found like once I started opening that door and realizing, wow, I can make all this stuff on my own, it really changed things for me. I felt it's empowering, and it definitely cut down on the amount of waste I had, and it just brought me closer to what I was consuming. Clothing is something else that, like, yeah, pretty much all my clothing I've gotten from someone else or a secondhand store. A really good way to go about that is doing clothing swaps with other cool people whose style you like. I just always shopped at secondhand stores growing up, and or got a lot of hand-me-downs from my siblings. So between my siblings and my friends and cool clothing stores, I can pretty much find everything I want. And then upcycling, we've been doing a lot of that around the house lately, just keeping our eyes out for wood that's been discarded. A lot of times people will leave stuff like that near their dumpsters, especially in areas where there's more like industrial buildings. And there's just so much that you can build from other people's trash and essentially upcycle it. And oftentimes it just takes like sanding something down, maybe buying a bracket or two, and then you made yourself a shelf, which we totally did. Or we have a friend who works at a food store, and they have a ton of those 5-gallon buckets that they just like are always throwing out, recycling. And we asked him if we could have some, and then we planted all of our plants in that. It's really fun. I really enjoy being creative in this way, and it brings a lot more meaning to the things that I'm doing, and I feel a lot more connected with what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and the items that I'm choosing to surround myself with. And it doesn't mean for me that I need to compromise. Actually, quite the opposite. I feel like it's totally in alignment with how I want to be living. And I think a big part of it for me is that it feels fun. Like, this whole journey is fun, and I like that I get to be creative and innovative. I don't feel like I have to skimp by, and I definitely feel like there's room for variation. And if I really want something and it happens to come in packaging, like, I'm gonna take the time to weigh out, like, okay, does it feel worth it to me to do this, or would it feel better to do a different way? And sometimes it's like, I'm gonna buy this thing in packaging right now and do so consciously and like feel really good about it because it's what I'm choosing. So I might as well embrace it. And it's not about, like, for me having some idea of like it needs to be perfect all the time. It's just a fun thing for me to play around with and feels good on multiple levels. Yeah, so it's fun to be sharing with you here. And this is definitely something that didn't happen overnight for me. And I recognize, like, I don't feel like I'm the expert on zero waste at all. I'm just where I'm at, and I'm having fun with it. And yeah, it's fun to share with you. And I think what I wanna say there that I didn't quite say yet is that it's a process, and it doesn't have to all happen at once. So I want to share this challenge that I decided to do for myself. I started it Sunday, and it's Friday now, and I'm gonna keep it going, I guess, through tomorrow. So it's a week of keeping all my trash in one area and seeing how much trash do I make. So I want to next week share all my trash with you in a video and kind of talk about like my process of looking at it and just recognizing, like, okay, this is my waste, and how does that feel, and how can I'm looking at it right now. I was gonna show you, but I realized I actually want to save that for the video. Yeah, it just sounds so fun to me to get even better at reducing it. So I'm excited to look at the items with you and to share some things, you know, kind of vulnerable, to show somebody else your trash and talk about solutions I could have going forward for maybe having less trash. So if you want to join me in 1 week of tracking your trash, I just took a cardboard box and have been putting all my trash in there. That works for me because I don't really have anything that could get like stinky or weird over time. But if you have that, then maybe having, you know, a vessel that's more recycling and a vessel that's more like garbage trash. Thank you so much for watching this. It's been super fun to share with you. I hope it's been fun for you to receive. If you have experiences that you'd like to share around these topics below, please do post. I imagine that a lot of you do, and a lot of you have a lot of cool tips that I would love to read about. And I imagine others would too. Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Bye.